Hi guys, this is Angela with Panda Kisses, and tonight we are going to be working on a new banner that Parker on the Porch is making and coming out with. This is one of the pieces. This is the adorable llama, and it's super cute, and I can show you this vinyl I used is Fluidity. You guys watch my videos, you know I use Fluidity a lot. This is the white one. Super cute. I will have the links for this vinyl. If you click on the See More in the video section, there'll be a See More spot, and if you click on that, it will have all the links to different products I use. I buy my vinyl from My Punk Embroidery, so I will link this vinyl. It's super cute. The back I used felt, and then here's the cute mountain that says Llama Party, and then this vinyl is really cute too. It's an orange color. It's really pretty and sparkly and glittery, and I will link that one as well. And then I just have felt on the back. We are going to be making the third piece, and that is this adorable cactus, and I'm going to walk you through making this cactus, and let's get started. So I have my 5x7 hooped with tearaway stabilizer right here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the first step. The first step is to go ahead and stitch that top placement stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that directly onto my stabilizer, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, that's what it looks like. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my fabric. You just need a big enough piece of fabric to cover this placement stitch. I'm going to use this really pretty green glitter vinyl. It's thicker glitter vinyl. You can see how thick it is there. But I'm going to go ahead and place it there. Just make sure it's over all of your placement stitches. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is step 2. And it's going to go ahead and do all those lines on the cactus. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like, and the next step is going to be this cute little flower. So I went ahead and changed my thread to the color I wanted, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that next. I will come back and show you what it looks like. There you go, there's the flower. Now we're going to go ahead and do the next step, which is step 4, which is the center of the flower. I changed my thread. I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. I'll come back and show you. Okay, you can see the center of the flower over there. The next step we're going to do is a placement stitch for the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch it, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, that's what that placement stitch looks like. Now you're going to want to get another piece of fabric that fits this size of a placement stitch, and you're going to want one with a clean edge, because you're basically going to want to put your fabric right above this little line right here. It has to be a little bit, so I'm going to use this gold. This is a canvas rose gold vinyl. It's super pretty, super sparkly. You're going to want to take a clean straight edge right here, and you're going to want to place it right above these stitches, because the next step is going to go ahead and stitch that same, it's going to tack this down with that same shape that's right there. And so you want this a little bit above so it can tack this fabric down. You don't want to miss the fabric, but you also don't want to cover your plant either, so your cactus. So you're going to want to get it straight. You're going to just push it up just a tiny bit like that, and then you're going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is step, I think it is step 6. Yep, step 6. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and tacked that down, so you can see I have a nice clean straight edge right here, and the stitches attached the vinyl. So we are going to do the next step. It's some detail steps on here. So the next step is going to go ahead and do this big detail in the middle of the pot. Sorry, I have a string. And so I went ahead and changed my thread, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and I will come back and show you what that turns out like. Okay guys, that's what it looks like. There's that detail. Now we're going to go ahead and do the next detail, which is that pink strip right there. So I went ahead and changed my thread, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Detail, it's brown. It doesn't show up that well on my gold fabric, but that's all right, my vinyl. I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, which is these pretty details that are on either side of the yellow that I already did, and I'm going to make that orange, so I changed my thread. So I'll go ahead and stitch that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, there's the orange details that I just stitched. So the next step I'm going to do is step 10, and it's going to do right here, this line that goes across your pot down there. I'm going to go ahead and do that brown. So I went ahead and changed my thread. I'm going to go ahead and stitch that line, and I will come back and show you. So the next step is going to go ahead and do your final stitches for the outside of your cactus, like right here. Whatever color you want the lines to be that are going to completely do this outside line of your cactus, that's what color you want it. It's going to go ahead and do those two sides right there, and I'll explain what those are when I get to the next step. But I already have mine brown, and I want this outline on the outside brown as well. So I have my brown in. I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 11, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what your front looks like right now. This is what your back looks like right now. It is time to go ahead and put our back on. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it to the back of the hoop. I put on, when I do banners, I use felt on the back. You could use felt on the front too. Lots of people do their banners with felt. I'm just using vinyl. So you go ahead and get a big enough piece of felt to cover all of this outside stitch line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to take tape, and I'm going to just tape it down so it stays. Okay. Maybe just do one more just to keep it down and secure. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's all taped. Now I said I was going to explain these finishing stitches that we did in the last step right here and right here. So in order to make the banner piece, you need an opening, and the way you create that is this is going to do a finishing stitch here and here, so it looks pretty on the front and complete. But what we're going to do on the next two steps, there's two stitch steps left. We're going to go ahead and stitch the rest of this cactus. It's going to do the whole outline of this cactus right here, but it's going to skip this and it's going to skip this. So when you are done, you're going to have a hole back here. So I can show you on this one. So the front looks complete because it did the finishing stitches, but on the back, because it skips these two now that we have the back on, it's going to skip these two spots, you're going to have a hole. And that's where you run your ribbon or whatever you're going to hang your banner with. So that's what creates the hole right there. So that's why it has those steps separated, and you wanted to do these before you put the back on so it can create those holes. So I'm going to go ahead and meet you back at my machine, and we will stitch the last two steps and we will be done. Okay, I'm back at my machine, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 12 so you can see that it's going to go ahead, like I said, it's going to go ahead and stitch all the way around here, but it's going to skip. See these holes right here? It's going to skip those two spots where we did the finishing stitches already. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have my brown in, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. At the top, you can see that the cactus is complete. So now it's going to go ahead and stitch all the way around this pot. So I'm going to go ahead and I changed my thread to the color I wanted, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what your front looks like. This is what your back looks like. You can see that it skipped those two spots, so there'll be a nice hole there to put your ribbon through. So we are done. We can go ahead and take this off of our hoop. I take all this tearaway off first. Okay. And then you take a pair of scissors. I'm going to take this big pair just to cut it. Now there's nothing you have to watch for on here. Just don't cut any of your stitches. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut all the way around. Okay. And I always put the tip, if I have like a pointed area that I need to get to, I always put the tip of my scissors right outside where I want it to stop, just so I don't end up cutting those stitches, so I know that I won't cut them. If you cut with it like this, you might end up cutting into those stitches. So that's just a little tip on cutting. The other thing I do is I do long cuts. I don't do like little short choppy cuts, and that's why I'm using these long scissors versus just a tiny little pair. If there's tons of detail that I need to get into, then I'll switch to my little scissors. But for the most part, I try to do long stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tip of my scissors outside the stitches and just cut once. And then I'm going to cut all the way around this. Okay, put my scissors right there and get a little closer. We are almost done. Sorry, watching me cut, it's probably not that entertaining. Okay, we are done. Okay. Move this out of the way. It turned out really super cute. So you can see there's the front, all those details. Here's the back, it's just felt. And you can see that if you just put that through, that's going to be where you would put your ribbon. And the way that I usually get the ribbon through these pieces is I take my ribbon and I tape it to the end of this, and then I push it through like this. Otherwise it's really hard to string the ribbon through these. So, but anyways, here's the whole banner together. I'll put some ribbon through it, but it's super cute.